welcome to today's tutorial. First and foremost, we'll be drafting out our back, the back pattern, okay, before we move to the front. So I also want to appreciate those that have subscribed, those that just joined the family lately. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are well appreciated. Okay, so let's move to our drafting. So this is my zipper line. I'm making use of a zipper line of 1.5 inches. Like you see, this is 1.5 inches, and this is my starting point. So I'll mark out my lines. So I'll mark out the waistline. I'm working with the back waist of 14 inches. 14 inches, okay, and also the hip line of 26 inches, and the full length is 38 inches. So I'll add 2 inches or 1.5 inches sewing. Let's use 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So we'll be working with that's 39.5 inch. All right, so I'll move here and do the same. 14 inches, 26 inches, with our knee line 35 inches, and also the full length of 38 plus sewing allowance 39.5. So I'll roll them out. Okay, so after rolling out the lines, we'll start with uh shoulder. I'm working with shoulder of 15 inches divided by 2, that's 7.5 plus half inch, that's 8 inches. Neck depth of 4 inches. Neck width, 4 inches. So I'll come down by 1.5 inch here, and I'll connect it. So for our shoulder slope, we'll come down by 1 inch, and I'll also connect that. So I'll add my sewing allowance immediately. Then also from the shoulder slant, I'll measure my armhole length, which is 7.5 inches. To make it straight, I'll measure what I have here and I'll put it here, which is 8 inches. So I'll connect it like this. I'm using this white chalk so that it can be very visible for you. So I'll make the armhole curve. So we have our armhole curve. All right. So now I'll move to the waistline, and I'll go in by half inch. So I'll curve it up here and I'll curve it down here as well. So it won't be getting to the hip line, but almost. All right, so we are not working with this. I'll roll it out. I'll mark out for the dart. Bust span of 8 inches divided by 2, that is 4. So I'll mark it out here, 4 inches. Okay. Then also, where is our dart starting from? It starts from the chest line, or you can just measure 9 inches or 10 inches downward. So I'll make use of 9 inches. I'll measure the 4 inches like this. Then I'll come to the hip line. I'll measure the 4 inches as well. But for the dart length, where it's going to stop, I'll be stopping 2 inches before the hip line. So I'll have to go up by 2 inches here. So this is where our dart is stopping. All right. So you connect with a long ruler like this. Then you come to the waist. For your dart leg, you remove ½ inch on both sides. Then you connect. Okay. So here we've removed our dart. Then also, to mark out the waist by the side here, I'll be making use of 15 inches, which is the front waist. Okay. Normally we went up by 4. We use the back waist measure length here. But at the side here, I'll be making use of 15. So I'm putting the original line here. All right. So because we are about to mark out our circumference measurement. So now to go to our circumference measurement, we are working with round waist of 38 inches. Okay. So round waist of 38 inches is divided by 4, 9.5. So 9.5 plus 1 that we have removed here, we have 10.5. So this is it here. Our round hip of 43 inches. So that is 10 3/4. That's divided by 4 is 10 3/4. So here is our 10 3/4. So then I'm working with round armhole of 19 inches. So measure your armhole round. That's divided by 2, 9.5. We have a 9.5 here. So at the ending line, I'm making use of the whatever we mark here minus 1 inches. Minus 1 inches. All right. So we mark out 10 3/4 here. 10 3/4. So it's going to be minus 1 inches is 9 3/4. It should have been 1.5. I should have removed from it, but I don't want it too penciled. That's why I'm using 1 inch. So I'll be connecting it like this. All right. So we connect it here too. So we'll go ahead and add our sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. Okay, so before we cut out at the zipper line, we need to correct our measurement because of what we removed here. So I'll make sure it is 1.5 inch. The clothes may be too dusty now. I'll be cleaning it up with a wet fabric. So At this point, we'll be cutting it out. For the half length of the front, we are now at the front. For the half length of the front, that's from the waist to downward, from the waist downward. All right. So you measure you place your tape rule that we are working with 17. The waistline is 17. So I'm starting with 17 down to 38 inches. That's our M line. That's the length of our gown. It's a short gown. And I added 1.5-inch sewing allowance, which is going to give us 39 and a half. All right. And the tape rule is on 7 inches. And I added half-inch upward here for the sewing allowance as well. All right. So I'll mark out the hip line here, which is 26 inches. So this is our hip line. This is the hip line. So I'll take my circumference measurement. I'm working with round waist of 38 inches divided by 4. That's 9 and a half. Mark out your 9 and a half like this. Hip of 43 inches, which is 10 3/4. 10 3/4. You mark it out. So for the M line or the knee line, I'll remove 1 inches from what we measure here. So we measure 10 3/4 minus 1 inches, that is 9 3/4. So I'll connect it. All right, so you had your sewing allowance. I'm using 1.5 inch because I'll be lining it. Then I'll connect. So I'll go ahead and cut it. But before I cut it, I'll be removing half-inch here. So my cutting is going to be like this. I'll slant it down. Just because I don't want it bulging out around the hip area in front. So now let's move to the bustier. I mean the chest area. Okay. So I've marked out all of my lines. This is the starting point, which is the shoulder line. This is the up bust. This is the bust line, 10 inches, and also the under bust of 14 inches. And we have our half length of 17 inches, and I added half-inch sewing allowance. All right. So let us proceed. I'll start with the shoulder. 15 inches divided by 2, 7.5 plus half, 8 inches. Then the neck width of 4 inches. Around the shoulder, for the shoulder slant, come down by 1 inch, and I'll connect it. I'll add my sewing allowance of half-inch. Then I'll go in for the armhole length by 7.5. I want to make sure the line is straight. So I'll roll it out. But before I roll it out, I need to get the middle. Remember, we measured 7.5 inch as the armhole length. So the divided by 2, the middle will be 3 3/4. So now on this our middle, we come in by half-inch. So I'll be connecting from here to this middle down using my armhole curve. So here we have it. So for the neck depth, we are using 4 inches as well. Then we'll connect. So now, considering the style, it has a yoke. So the yoke started from the around the up bust. So we are going to be using this from here. All this place now is our yoke. All this place is our yoke. But if you want your own yoke to be in form of a sweetheart neck, so it means you are going to be coming down here like this. Below on the up bust, you come down by either 2 inches or 1.5 inch, depending on what you want. All right. So you can as well just okay decide. I'll make it 1.5 inch. This is 1.5 inch. So we are going to be connecting it like this to form a sweetheart neckline. Then we'll clean this. So that is if we are working on a sweetheart neckline. Hope you understand that. So this is area is our yoke. I don't know if you can see it properly. So this is our yoke. Now I'll begin with the bust span of 4 inches. That's 8 inches divided by 4. So I have 4 inches. So you roll it out. All right, because I'm not drafting on pattern paper, I'm drafting on the clothes directly. So I'm going to be leaving a space in between here. I'll be leaving a space. I'll be leaving space of um 1.5 inch in between. So you also need to learn how to draft on your cloth directly. At times you may not get your paper. So while we are taking our measurements, we'll be considering this as well. We'll be considering this space we leave in between here. So now this is the space for the center front, and this is the space for the side front. All right. So now we are going to be taking. I'll be removing for our dart. I'll be removing 1/2 inch here, and I'll be removing 3/4 inch here. That's on the up bust. Okay. So I'll connect it to the bust line. Okay. Here, so I'll be connecting. So here on the under bust, I'll also come and remove 1/2 inch here. And on this side, I'll be removing 3 inches here. So I'll be connecting it to the bust line as well. All right. So I will extend this that here down to the waistline by taking the same measurements there, 1/2 inch here and 3 inches here. So you use your roller to connect it. All right. So I am okay, I'm perfect with what I have here. So I'll now impute my sewing allowance. Remember, we left a space there, so I had to clean all the lines I'm not needing. So I won't get confused. So I'll be adding my sewing allowance of 1/2 inch here now on both sides, following the shape. If you cannot calculate it with your eye, please use tape rule. All right, so I've imputed my sewing allowance. Then now I can go ahead to impute my circumference measurement. But before then, we'll have to return what we removed here. We have to add what we removed here. I removed one half inch on this side for the darts, and I removed 3/4 inch for this side, for the darts on this side. So altogether we have 1 1/4 inch. So I'll return 1 1/4 inch back here. This is 1 1/4 inch. So just to get a new armhole, all right, and I'll reconnect it to the side. So this is our new armhole here. So now I'll go ahead to mark out my circumference measurement, starting with the underbust. I'm working with the underbust of 35 inches, and that's divided by 4. That is 8 3/4. 8 3/4, right? So I'll measure what I have here. I have 3 1/2 here. Please be careful of the measurements. I didn't calculate the sewing allowance with it, so I have 3 1/2 here. So I'll continue with it here, right, on the real measurements, not the sewing allowance. So 3 1/2, we need 8 3/4. So here we have it for the underbust. Then we'll come to the waist. I'm working with round waist of 38 inches, which is 9 1/2. So here I already have 3 1/2 here also. I'll come to this side to continue the measurements. So 9 1/2. We have it here. Also, the armhole, I'm working with armhole of 9 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead and measure. I have 5 1/4 here. I'll continue the measurement here. 9 1/2 inch. So I'll connect it, the 3 lines. So I can go ahead now to add my sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. I'll be adding a piece of Ankara here to complete the sewing allowance there. Okay. So now we are done with the drafting. We'll go ahead. Need to add sewing allowance at the upper side here. Remember, this is the yoke. Like I said, this is the yoke. Initially, basically, I'm supposed to add half inch to this yoke too as well, for the sewing allowance, and I'll be adding half inch also to the upside of this bustier too. Okay, but one of them, because of where I'm working on the fabric itself, so I'll be removing for this one. So which means it is 1 inch I'll be adding to the yoke now to complete the length of the yoke. So I'll just add half inch for the upside here. So we'll move to our sleeve. It's a long sleeve, so I'm working with sleeves of 20 inches. Okay, say 20 inches. First and foremost, I'll need to rule out my line. And my sewing allowance, I'll be needing sewing allowance of 2 inches because I'll need to fold it properly. It's a net. So sewing allowance of 2 inches. All right. So we'll now measure our 20 inches. 20 inches. You roll it out. So these are 20 inches length. So our biceps line of 5 inches. Roll it out. Then I'll measure our biceps. The biceps is 16 inches. 16 divided by 2, that's 8 inches. So I'll measure 8 inches here. 8 inches. Then the midpoint of that 8 inch, that's 4 inches. So I rule that 4 inches here. I'll roll it. So we get the middle of our biceps. Oh, the middle, that's 2.5. Here is it. So here is our meeting point. Just curve it like this. and you connect it like this. So we are working with round armhole of 19 inches divided by 2, 9.5. So I'll measure to see our accuracy, 9.5. Right. So we have it here. So we also come here. The round sleeve of our wrist, of the wrist, is 8 inches divided by 2, that's 4 inches. So not too tight, I can make it 4.5 inches. Then I'll connect it. So I won't be ruining all the line because it's a white material. So I'll be adding my sewing allowance of 1 inch. Or better still, you can make use of 1/2 inch in the tent. This 1 inch I'm making use of, I've been lightly trimmed off at the end of the day. So connect it. Then I'll cut it out. So I'll be cutting out our yoke. This is already on fold, but I would like to double the yoke. So I'll double it this way. Okay. So like I said earlier, I hope we've not forgotten that I'll be adding 1 inch sewing allowance. 1 inch sewing allowance. So we'll impute our 1 inch sewing allowance. So we have it here. So just go ahead and cut. And that is it. So I'll notch the needle. So for the sewing, we are now at the back. All right. So I went to cut out the lining of the back, the same using the fabric itself. Okay. So this is what we'll be doing. Right side facing right side. You know we have 2 of these at the back. So for each one, you place it like this. So you're going to be stitching it at the red neckline, so the center, and also at the side. We are not stitching the hammer, neither are we stitching the down part. So only the neck, side, the center, and the side. Then you now take your dart, like the way I explained here. You impute your dart. I've stitched it, I've imputed my dart, and you'll be having something like this. So this place will be open like this because of the shape of the back. So at this point, I'll be adding my zipper at the back. Okay, so I'll stitch the remaining and leave a bit of slit here. All right, so I'll be putting my zipper here and I'll put it aside. So we'll now be moving to the front, the down part of the front. So here is the front. I cut out the lining in the same manner, and I'll be stitching on both sides. I'll be joining them at the side. All right, so I'll stitch here and stitch this other side and turn it over. I'm not stitching this piece, I'm not stitching this. So I'll stitch it and I've turned it. Okay, so I'll stitch at the waistline just to hold it together. So at this point, we'll be working with fringe. Okay, we'll be working with fringe. So I'll be marking out where our fringe will start from. So to start with, we added sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. So I'll be marking that out to just indicate our hemline. All right. So to indicate our hemline. So after that, I'll be going up by I'll be going up by 7 inches. Or if I so wish, I can go up by 8 inches. Let's make it 8 inches. So I'll go up by 8 inches. I'll mark it. Then at this point, I'll be marking my sewing allowance. I have 1 inch left for the sewing allowance, okay? So now, at this side, we are trying to make a kind of a curve. At this side, I also mark out my sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. So I'll mark it out. So at this side, I'll just go up by 1 inch. Here is I went up at this side by 1 inch, and at this side I went up by 8 inches. Okay, so we'll be creating our slant, our slope, I mean. So something like this. All right. So I just wanted, probably I'm going to go up a bit more because I needed that shape. All right, so I still need that shape more. Okay. So this is the shape we'll follow. This is the shape we'll be following. So at this point, I will start arranging my fringe just like this. I'll just follow the shape through. So it's going to, so I'll sew it, then come to the other line till I'm able to cover up every side I wanted. This is the shape I want to achieve. Okay, so for a clearer understanding, for you to understand it more, I started with a zigzag. I use a zigzag stitch. So I started at the ending line, so straight and straight, and as I proceed, like this fourth one, it stopped. It joined the third one here, and the next one too, we come join it halfway, like that. Till you are able to achieve this shape. So this is what we will be having here. So now for the final look, I'll be using this tape to cover it up here. I'll be stitching it on it. So I'll follow the shape. I'll stitch it on it like this. So after doing that, I'll drop this aside and move to the half length. I mean our back. This is the back. This is how I did the fringe for the back. All right. So at this stage, I will be joining this half length. Sorry, this is our front. Have I showed you? This is our front. So I use the tape I folded the tape into two and I use it to tape the edges. All right. So at this stage, I will be joining. I'm supposed to finish up the front before joining, but because this place, the end line of these two must be aligned, and it's very important. So I need to first of all secure it. So if there's any adjustment after doing the half length, I'll be adjusting it here. So here I'll be holding it. I'll be joining it by the side. I'll have to measure my hip, my round hip, then I'll join. I have 1 inch left for the allowance, then I will join. So when I'm joining, I'll leave about 2 or 3 inches here so that I'll have space to join my other half length. So I'm going to start my stitch around 3 inches below, down, just to secure the end line of this gown. This is the one we drafted, all right? So I added interfacing to each of it. And also, I'm using this same Ankara. It's just my choice. It's not compulsory. So I use this same Ankara for the lining of the bustier. So it's just my choice. You can use a normal lining if you so wish. So this is what I did. I added interfacing to the original one I'll be using for the major fabric. And the one I'm using for lining, I added wording. This is the one for lining. I added wording to it. So this is the way it is. This is for the lining and this is the major fabric. Okay. So I'm going to be joining it like this. I'm going to be joining it like this. I'll join this to this place and I'll also join this place to this place. But the most important thing is that let your underbust aligns. I've notched the one here, the underbust here. So I'm going to make sure it aligns. So while I'm stitching it. All right. And the same for also for the lining. I'll be stitching the three of them also separately. Then after that, after I've joined these three, I'll now join them. I'll bring them together and join them at the top. That's at the up bust. I'm going to join them there. All right. And there's something I want to remind us of. While we are drafting, I did not remove my side darts. I'm supposed to remove my side darts on this bust line You just come down by 2 or 1 inches depending on the length of the back and the front. For the front of this is 17 inches, right? And the back is 15 inches. Okay, so now the difference is 2 inches. So that means we are going to be removing 2 inches here from the bust line down. Measure 2 inches down. You connect it like this. Assuming this is our 2 inches, you connect it to your bust line. All right, you open it up with the scissors and you close it up, or probably you just find your way to close it up. All right, but I did not remove it. I'm going to be removing it at the down part of it. That is by the time I've joined it. I purposely um decided to use that method. So I've joined them. This is what we are having. After joining, I trim it closely. Okay, so let's see what we are having. So here is our bustier. This is what we are having, but remember, this is the lining. This is the lining. Okay, so see how it is standing. I've not even ironed it. I've not ironed this, and look at what we are having. You can see the way it is standing. Okay, so now what we'll be doing next, remember, this is our lining. So we are to join the lining, and this is the major fabric. I stitch the major fabric to the same way like this. Okay, but now to join it, you need to notch the center just like this. This is how you get the center. Fold it into two, and then you notch it. So this is the center. I'm going to be placing it this way so that we can stitch it together. But before then, remember, we have our yoke. This is our yoke. I've turned the neckline. Okay, so you also get in the center of this yoke, put it here, make sure it aligns with the center. So we have 3 centers we are joining together now. So after the yoke comes the major fabric. So all the 3 centers must align. Then I'll stitch to the side, from center to side and center to side, and we will turn it. Here is it, the in between. After joining it, you should be having something like this. You should be having something like this. All right. So at this junction, you have to take your tailor's ham. You take your tailor's ham, put it underneath, because we'll be molding here, so that our lining and the main fabric will be together. So you set it like I'm setting it. All right, so open it up. Then I will be using my hemming gum. Just put it across, use it to cover it as much as you can, and when you are done, you mold it with your hot iron, your steam iron. Here, after ironing it, this is our bustier. If you are yet to subscribe, please remember to subscribe and drop a thumb up, like, and share. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so our next step is now for us to remove our side that the side that we are supposed to have removed, like I said earlier. So this is where I will be removing it now. I'm going to come up by 1.5 inch here on both sides, and I'll be trimming it so it can help it to balance up. You can see. So I'll come up by 1.5 inch, like I said. So, and I'll trim it off. Before we conclude the trimming, we also need to mark out to take our measurement. Our under bust is 14, right? Then the waistline is 17 plus ½ inch. So we have 7.5. All right. So we are working with this line. So I've trimmed it off, and then our bustier can relax properly. So I'll also be trimming the armhole area. Everywhere that needs trimming will be trimmed. So after, when we are done with the trimming, I'm going to be stitching the lining and the fabric inside. So I'll be turning it inside out so that I can stitch it inside. So I'll be turning it this way. I'll find a way to turn it this way and stitch it so that our stitch can be inside. Then after that, I'll be joining it. So we are at the last phase, is the joining that remains. Remember where we stopped here. Remember where we stopped. So I've joined the bustier with the shoulder of the back. So what is next is for us to join it with the down part. After I'm done joining, then I'll seal it I also joined by the side to complete the joining. But we'll make sure the middle of both aligns like this. I've notched them. We'll make sure it aligns. All right. In case I've not shown you the inside of our Bustier, look at how the inside it is. All right. So if you've not subscribed yet, please click on the subscription button, like it, share it, okay, and drop your questions in the comment sections. All right. So I'm going to be joining it now. And after that, I'll be adding the sleeve. This is our sleeve. This is our sleeve. I'll be adding the sleeve, and we are good to. So after finishing it, this is our beautiful damsel standing right in front of us. If you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe, like, share, and then love this channel. See you in my next video. Bye.